Hello everyone, I'm Max Barrows. I am the Outreach Director of Green Mountain Self-Advocates. Today, our topic we would like to share with you is making meetings inclusive for peers. Speaking of peers, I would like to have a good colleague of mine introduce herself.
Ready? Hello, my name is Nicola Blank, Advocacy Coordinator and member of Autism Now Advisory Committee.
So Nicole, I would like to ask you about your experience in meetings. My first question to you is, how do you feel when you are stuck and you don't know what to say?
I can feel lost. I can feel excluded. My head can start to spin and it can be overwhelming.
So what can people do to make sure you don't get stuck? Do you have any tips on what to do to be in tune with what's going on in a meeting?
The group should do brief check-ins from time to time to check for understanding. Face-to-face is better than meeting over the phone. I would recommend trying video conferencing by using programs such as Google Hangout, Skype. For me, it's always better when I can see the person who is talking. Having visuals are nice, like a PowerPoint or pictures of the people at the meeting. Sometimes I text back and forth with an ally or a support person to stay focused, especially when it is boring. All materials should be in large print, 14 to 16 font. It is beneficial to have them ahead of time.
For people who experience sensory challenges, is there ways to provide a sensory-friendly environment that you can think of?
Limit the use of fluorescent lights, let people take sensory breaks as needed, and provide a quiet space to work with a limited amount of background noise.
During a meeting, if someone is having difficulty responding or is silent after being asked a question, how can the support person or their coworker help them out?
They can ask prompting questions like, "What do you think about that?" Paraphrase what was discussed, in other words. They can summarize in plain English what was discussed. And lastly, the leader needs to give everyone a chance to speak. If you are discussing policy issues, for instance, it is crucial to ask people what they think about a certain issue and not move on until everyone has had an opportunity to comment or give their 2 cents.
What do you do when you have someone blurt out something like during a meeting, or as in other words, may interrupt or talk over people?
There are many times where people can forget what they want to say if they don't get it off their chest right away. Some things that people could do are encourage them to write down what they want to say, like on a notepad or iPad. They could type their ideas when Skyping with their peers and support staff. Maybe they could sit next to the facilitator of the meeting so that they can let them know when they have something to say.
What does one person do when the other person gets stuck or changes the subject and is not responding?
Redirect the person back to the subject or issue that was being discussed. Ask the person if they just needed time to think. Ask, is the issue bothersome to you or uncomfortable? Practice patience. Suggest that the person go for a walk to get a breath of fresh air and chill out.
Joining me today is a great colleague of mine, Kyle Moriarty. Hi, how you doing, Kyle? Would you like to introduce yourself?
I am Kyle Boyer.
Moriarty.
So, Kyle, I'm curious to know, what has been your experience with typing to communicate?
The attitude of he can't speak, he doesn't know, I have had to live with for many years. I am now able to demonstrate what I know through supported type communication. I feel people understand me now. I show them and they understand me. It cannot get any better than communicating from within me.
So my next question to you is, what is your advice for people when they meet a person who types to communicate?
Some people judge a person because of the way they look. The most important thing to remember is that non-speaking people have lots to say, and all we need is people to take the time to hear our thoughts.
So my next question for you, Kyle, is, can you share some tips for peers who run meetings so they can make sure everyone is included?
The most important thing is to slow down. It takes time for someone who types to get out what they are trying to say, and you have to be willing to work at their pace. It is so important to presume competence of a person who types to communicate. Don't judge a person by how they look or how their body moves.
I know that in my self-advocacy group, my peers want to help out if someone is, I would say, having, a difficult time, hard time speaking up. So I'm wondering, do you have any suggestions?
Just because a person can't speak does not mean they can't understand. Also, remember to speak to me directly, not to my support person or companion. It can be difficult for some of us to make quick decisions. Be patient and allow the person to take their time. I know that people don't always have the time to slow down and wait for me to type what I am trying to say. But I really want to connect with my peers. Belonging to a self-advocacy group gives me a reason to strive for great things in my life. There are times when one of my friends stops by to chat while I am typing. This is good because it feels really great to chat about things on my mind with someone I see every day. The barriers to communication that I experience at a group meeting are nothing compared to the isolation I would feel if I spent every day at home.
When you include people with disabilities in meetings, remember, nothing about us without us. Please make sure meetings are welcoming and as inclusive as possible. I hope this information will help you figure out how to feel more included in a meeting. Thank you so much for watching.